These are clips from my just about halfway completed Every Vampire from Every Culture Ever video, coming soon. Like the vid, sub to the channel, on to the video.
Aluka is an ancient vampiric demon from Hasidic lore, appearing as a beautiful woman with a seemingly innocent face. Despite her appearance, a snake coils around her heart. She typically attacks men in a manner similar to a succubus, but she can also induce madness and deep feelings of shame in her victims, often leading them to suicide. While the Aluka is considered indestructible, she can be repelled through prayers. Protection against her attacks can be achieved by sleeping with an iron nail under one's pillow.
So the Aluka is a Jewish woman that shames men to death? Isn't that the whole point in the first place?
The Alroy is a vampiric fae from the British Isles, created when someone dies prematurely, such as a man in battle or a woman in childbirth. Babies born to dead mothers or those who die before being named also become Alroy. These children were historically seen as bad omens, and their bodies were often left outside town limits. If these deceased infants are intentionally killed or buried, they may return as vengeful spirits. However, the Alroy can be captured and its magical properties harnessed for spells, lasting until the day the child would have naturally died. In ancient Greece, the Alroy is a vampiric ghost created when a person dies prematurely. The word Alroy translates to untimely dead. Like its counterpart in the British Isles, the ghost can be captured and its magical abilities used in spellcasting. The magic, again, only lasts until the day the person's natural death would have occurred. The Aswang Tianek is a vampiric demon from the Philippines, born from the union of a woman and a demon, or from an unbaptized child or aborted fetus. This creature is characterized by its red skin, lack of hair, and glowing red eyes. It hunts women by transforming into a seemingly innocent baby and positioning itself where it will be found. Once taken into a home, it waits until its rescuer is asleep before revealing its true form and attacking, draining the victim of blood. In the Philippines, the Berbalangs are a tribe believed to possess the innate ability to astral project and psychically attack others. At night, they use astral projection to leave their bodies and steal the life energy of human prey. Victims often wake up feeling exhausted and weak. Methods that harm or kill humans are also effective against the Berbalangs. The Begirig is a German vampire whose name translates to avid chewer. It can be created by being born with a caul, drowning, or being buried in clothes with one's name sewn into them. The Begirig remains in its grave, chewing on its burial shroud and then its own body, making pig-like noises. It uses psychic powers to drain physical and emotional energy from its family members, and it is also a known plague carrier with sores all over its body. Garlic can repel it temporarily, but to permanently destroy a Begirig, one must behead it, burn it to ash, and ensure its mouth is kept closed with a stone, coin, or tied with clean white linen. Camazotz, a prominent figure in ancient Mayan mythology, is a vampiric bat deity worshipped by the Quiche Maya and Zapotec Indians. His name, translating to terms like Black Man, Death Bat, and the Sudden Bloodletter, reflects his fearsome nature. Depicted as a man-bat hybrid holding a knife and a human sacrifice, Camazotz plays a significant role in the Mayan sacred text, the Popol Vuh. He is known for slaying the first race of man and beheading the hero Humapu. Each year, his descent into the Mayan underworld, Xibalba, is linked with the timing of corn planting, highlighting his enduring influence and the fear he instills, which persists among some communities today.
I want to point out that the picture I used is a real Mayan artifact, so yeah, Batman came from the Mayan people.
In post-medieval Europe, Cambion refers to a demonic hybrid offspring resulting from the union of a human and a demon, such as an incubus or succubus. These children, often marked by physical defects or abnormalities, were not considered fully human until they reached the age of 7. Before then, they could be killed without consequence, and a common test involved a holy man touching the child to see if it reacted in pain.
We all know the joke that goes here. Every single one of us knows the joke that goes here, okay? There's no reason to even waste our time. Everyone knows.
Cambions were believed to possess supernatural abilities and were often associated with magic and sorcery. Notable figures, including Merlin, Remus and Romulus, and Alexander the Great, were rumored to be Cambions. The belief also led to accusations and executions, as seen in the case of Angela de la Barre, who was burned for giving birth to a child with alleged demonic features. In ancient Peru, Canchus were devil worshippers who believed that drinking the blood of children would help them maintain their youth and increase their life energy. All right, Sandra Bullock, calm down. They often performed sacrifices of children to the devils they worshipped, aligning their practices with their vampiric beliefs. The Shuma is a vampiric witch spirit from Romanian lore. It can appear as either a young virgin or an old hag and spreads cholera wherever it goes. At night, it wails in pain due to the disease. To drive a Shuma away, 7 women must complete a scarlet shirt in one night without speaking, and leave it in the woods for the spirit to find. The Shuma is vulnerable to the cold and will leave the area upon finding and wearing the shirt. If 7 old women are unavailable, 7 maidens can also be used, though the Shuma may take longer to depart. Duendes are vampiric fays from Spanish folklore that come in 2 main forms: a middle-aged woman in green robes or a young girl in red and green with a straw hat. They have icicle fingers and use their seductive abilities to corrupt men, often aiming to make them break vows or engage in indiscretions. They take particular pleasure in seducing men while in their childlike form, and are motivated by a deep-seated resentment towards humanity, as they wish to be human themselves. I'll be honest, talking about vampires being used as cultural tools, right? To assert that there is a Spanish vampiric fae called the Duendes that is famous for seducing men as a child. Okay. Right, sure. Alright. I told you, we get a little bit of a window into these cultures here. In ancient Greek and later in Rome, the Ephelis, also known as Ephialtes or Ephialte, was a vampiric demon with hooked talons. It was created when someone died prematurely or was murdered. The Ephilis was notorious for causing nightmares, sitting on the chest of sleepers and using its hooks to induce disturbing dreams. It was associated with gods like Artemis and Pan, as well as creatures like satyrs, sirens, and Sylvani. During the reign of Augustine, the Ephilis was linked with incubi, succubi, and the god Pan, who was also known for causing bad dreams. In Russian folklore, an eretic, also known by various names such as Elitomsk or Eretica, is a type of living vampire. This entity arises when a person is possessed shortly before death and then reanimated by a witch or sorcerer. Other causes for becoming an eretic include being labeled a heretic, selling one's soul, sleeping on a grave, or making inappropriate noises in a bathhouse. I'm sorry, what? Once reanimated, the eretic preys on humans, starting with its own family, and can kill with a mere hateful glance. It is most active at night during spring and fall, and is known to inhabit dry riverbeds where it performs black masses. Although it is a living being, it must be dealt with using traditional vampire methods: staking through the heart, decapitation, and burning to ashes.
Do you like vampires? Well, your good old Uncle Evil Eddie is here to make sure you keep your precious juices in their places, and that supple skin stays unpunctured in the night. Evil Eddie's garlic-scented Vamporium is your one-stop shop for staying alive. We've got silver-coated mittens to burn skin of the undead. Chewing gum that smells so strongly of garlic it is legally considered a biological weapon. Geneva Convention, Schmaneva Convention. If anyone asks, your Uncle Eddie never told you such things, yes?
Why does it burn? My mouth is burnt.
Maybe you're too squeamish for chemical warfare like Billy over there.
My face is melting.
Evil Eddie's garlic-scented Vamporium. Our products are so effective, they're classified as war crimes. Isn't that right, Billy?
In Iroquois folklore, the Flying Heads are vampiric creatures characterized by large heads with fiery red eyes, stringy hair, and rows of sharp teeth. They have wings where their ears should be and glide through stormy skies, using their hair to stay aloft. The heads hunt for prey by diving down and locking their jaws onto victims. They are not very intelligent, which allows the Iroquois to trick them into grabbing red-hot chestnuts, leading to their destruction as the burning coals ignite their heads, causing them to burst into flames. In New Guinea and nearby islands, the Forso is a vampiric ghost that feeds on the emotions, life energy, and sexual energies of its victims, while also cursing them with bad luck and depression. This intangible and invisible entity usually stays near its grave and attacks anyone who approaches. To protect against a Forso, charms and prayers can be used, but only if the Forso was immoral yet religious in life. Papuans view the Forso as a pitiable, lonely soul seeking attention. When a Forso is discovered, its bones are exhumed and brought into a family's home. By welcoming and adopting the Forso, it no longer feels the need to harm others. Gaki are persistent vampiric spirits from Japan, created when a highly greedy person dies. They return to Earth with an insatiable thirst for blood and are characterized by their cold bodies, hollow features, and pale skin. Despite their large stomachs, their necks are narrow. Gaki can shapeshift into mist or assume physical forms such as animals, red-skinned humanoids with horns, or specific people. They drain blood merely by proximity and become fixated on their targets during attacks. Gaki are impervious to damage in mist form, but can be harmed by ghost-specific weapons. They can only be destroyed while in a physical form, ideally during feeding when they are less aware of their surroundings. Different species of Gaki have varied diets, from consuming flesh and souls to feeding on thoughts, samurai top-knots, or incense. The Ghoul, also known as Goli, Ghoul, or Gulas, and many other variations, is a creature from Arabic lore. It is covered in thick hair, has long tusks, a single large cyclopean eye, and a long neck reminiscent of an ostrich. The Ghoul can shapeshift into a human of either sex to lure solitary travelers to secluded spots, where it consumes their flesh and drinks their blood. Occasionally, the Ghoul may fall in love with a human, capturing them to take as a mate. The offspring from such unions are a new type of Ghoul, monstrous, fast, and savage predators known for their brutality and violent behavior. A glog is a vampire slayer from Bulgaria who uses traditional tools such as a wooden stake made from black hawthorn to destroy vampires. Born from an unnatural union between a vampire and his human mother, the glog is half vampire and inherits some of his father's supernatural abilities, including the ability to see and combat vampires. The vampire father is typically the deceased husband of the mother. Glogs are not considered illegitimate due to their parents' unique circumstances, and there are no female glogve. Glogve, by the way, is the plural for glog. You would think it'd be something like glogza, but no, glogve. There are no female glogve, by the way. Shit. The Nadsbi... what? From Tibet. Nadsbian. The Nadsbian. Let's just do that. Oh, Tibet. Thou art a capricious bitch. The Nadsbian is a demonic... don't check me on that pronunciation. I'm pretty sure I left in me stumbling over that the first time, but I'm just going to reiterate. Don't even bother checking me on that. You can go right to hell if you're like, I know exactly how to pronounce that. Shut up. Stop being a Billy. The Nadsbian is a demonic vampiric spirit from Tibet that preys on people leading holy or spiritual lives. Its name means doer of harm, reflecting its nature. The Nadsbian is known for its immense strength and ability to spread disease on an epidemic scale, and it possesses a range of unspecified supernatural powers. It exhibits behaviors similar to an incubus or succubus, and it enjoys disrupting the meditation of monks and nuns. The Nadsbian has black skin and typically resides in remote, difficult-to-reach areas in the mountains. Regular offerings and proper sacrifices can appease it and ensure its silence. So here's another thing, right? So like I'm envisioning some kind of Tibetan monk, right? And he's really trying to focus into his inner silence, whatever the specific purpose of that day's meditation might have been. There's just like some dude being kind of generally loud on the street nearby. And now you've got this Tibetan monk who's like, it's a fucking it's a Nadsbian. Oh man, I gotta go out there. We have to exorcise this demon. When really it's just fucking Jeff again. Jeff gets around. He likes being in Scotland, but now he's annoying Tibetan monks. Jeff's just an all-around dick, I guess. But basically, you got this Tibetan monk who's like, man, I just really can't focus. It's, you know what? It's fucking Jeff's fault. Let me go grab my incense sticks and exercise that loud asshole. Okay, so this one isn't a vampire, but I'm throwing it in because I loved learning it, and I think you will too. In Celtic and Chinese vampire lore, the color green often signifies vampiric traits. If you've been paying attention, pretty much every time we've talked about a banshee, she's described as being a woman in a green dress, right? When someone in these stories is described as having green clothing or hair, it usually hints that they are a vampire. Additionally, lamps are said to burn with a green flame when a vampire enters a room. This tradition has influenced modern storytelling, with authors like H.P. Lovecraft, Edgar Allan Poe, and Bram Stoker using the color green to signify the presence of the undead. I mean, linking the color green to vampires is pretty nerdy, but we're also throwing barbarians and Cthulhu into the mix. So, it's my favorite day ever. Trust me, I'll always find a way. I will say this, though. To me, I had learned of, the first time I had heard of like, and these lights are throwing off a sickly green hue, right? It was specifically through H.P. Lovecraft. To me, green tinged light has always been like a signifier of cosmic madness. It wasn't specifically just vampires. So learning that it's a much more broad motif, because I had never considered it that much, you know what I mean? I hadn't really seen it many other places, so I had just made that connection in my head, green light equals Lovecraft. It is very fascinating to get another aspect of that. And like I said, I thought perhaps if you're this far into the video, you're probably interested in the same kind of things that I am, and that probably kind of riled up your jimmies a little bit. I don't even know what that phrase means. Let's insert another one here.
Pickle your nipples.
All right, cool. That one was either marginally better or significantly worse, depending on the mood that I was in while I'm editing that. So I guess we'll find out together. In France, the Green Ogress is a vampiric fae that presents itself as an exceptionally beautiful woman. It uses its seductive abilities to lure men into sexual encounters, during which it drains their blood. The Green Ogress, like other similar creatures, is vulnerable to iron. Grendel, the monster from the epic saga Beowulf, is often overlooked in vampiric lore, but can be considered a vampiric creature. Described as a descendant of Cain and a hybrid of man and water troll, Grendel terrorizes King Hrot's court by attacking, ripping apart, and consuming the flesh and blood of his victims. Protected by witchcraft from his mother, Grendel is impervious to conventional weapons and takes pleasure solely in killing. The story of Beowulf's battle with Grendel bears similarities to ancient Norse tales of the Draugi and Draugr, both large, strong vampires created by magic and defeated only through physical confrontation. Gwenardel is a vampiric fae from the Isle of Man who appears as a beautiful woman. She is drawn to poets, whom she feeds on. In return, she grants them inspiration and a remarkable, though brief, life. Gwenardel acts as an energy vampire, providing creative vitality at the cost of their blood. I really find this concept fascinating. It's like a parasitic muse, you know? Very, very interesting. Oh, fuck you, Wales. Oh shit, here we go. Graki Reben is a vampiric fae from Wales with two distinct forms. In one guise, she appears as a hunchbacked figure cloaked in green, with only darkness visible beneath the hood. In her other form, she is a terrifying creature, with features like drool or blood hanging from her mouth, a single tusk-like tooth, a hooked nose with one nostril, webbed or clawed hands and feet, long, thin breasts, a barbed tongue, and greenish or bluish skin. She also has large, leathery bat wings. Graki Reben preys on the bedridden, children, and the elderly by draining their blood gradually, weakening them over time until they eventually die. She resides in secluded forest glades or by waterways, and can sense when someone of pure Welsh descent is about to die. She turns invisible, follows them, and at a crossroads, she reveals herself and calls out a warning. This encounter often causes the person to die from shock or madness. Wait, hold on, let me just for a second here, right? So does this mean, is the Graki Reben trying to save the person? Or is like the Graki Reben like an unwitting Grim Reaper, basically? Like, is the whole purpose like, oh man, I know when this pure Welsh person is about to die, I must go and warn them. But every time it causes their death, she's like, no, I still have to keep warning these people. I don't know, I find the phrasing of like warning them of their death, but they every time they die, it's like, then just stop warning them.
Subscribe for more. Vidni Mirodin.